All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, here's somebody we haven't spoken about in a long time, Neil Cuckman. So Neil Cuckman apparently did an interview with Sony, and this one is interesting, not because necessarily he's doing an interview. I mean, he's Neil Cuckman. He does interviews all the time. What is interesting about this is that Sony apparently has been forced to take yet another L, which, again, I don't understand how these people are taking so many L's in Gamergate 2.0, and they're trying to pretend as if everything is fine, right? They're like that meme where the dog is in the middle of a burning building, and they're trying to convince everybody else that everything is perfectly fine. Well, guess what? It's not fine. Sony was forced to delete the entire interview because they were called out for significant errors and inaccuracies.
That's embarrassing.
Now, it's not too shocking to see Sony being called out for being inaccurate, right? Or in this case, significant errors. That's not too shocking. This is Sony at the end of the day, right? Sony isn't exactly trying to be the best kind of journalist that money can buy, if you catch my drift. But this article here from That Park Place is going to go over the inaccuracies and the errors and what caused it to get shut down in the first place. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Sony deleted their entire interview with Naughty Dog studio head and head of creative Neil Druckmann for several significant errors and inaccuracies in the wake of Cuckman rebuking the interview for claiming Naughty Dog's upcoming game could redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming. Now, honestly, I can see how this would be a big deal, okay? And the reason why is because people are going to blame Neil Cuckman for a statement like that. And if he didn't actually make a statement like that, that is going to bring him a lot of heat eventually down the line when people realize that whatever game he's working on probably is not going to actually redefine the mainstream perceptions of gaming, if you catch my drift. So they essentially, and it looks like they added that line in there to try to make it seem like something that it's not, because Sony wants to obviously misrepresent their games because their products can't stand on their own anymore. They need to hype it up with some fake bullshit. It says that Sony originally published an interview with Cuckman regarding the evolution of storytelling across medium, with many outlets and readers picking up on the claim that Cuckman claimed Naughty Dog's upcoming game could redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming. Now, I remember seeing multiple articles about that particular line. I don't think I made a video on it, to be honest with you, because I really didn't feel like talking about Neil Cuckman again. I mean, this guy is honestly, I feel like he should be out of the gaming industry at this point. What he did with Last of Us 2 is a telling sign, let's just say, of where his mind is at in terms of gaming. But honestly, I don't know. When it comes to Neil Cuckman, you got to just take everything with a grain of salt. It says that Cuckman would rebuke this claim, posting on X, "This is not quite what I said." He then shared a transcript of his original response, writing, "In editing my rambling answers in my recent interview with Sony, some of my words, context, and intent were unfortunately lost. Well, here's the full long rambling answer for the final question about our future game." And then it says, in that full, long answer, Druckmann stated, "I'm working on a new one right now, and it's maybe the most excited I've been for a project yet. I can't talk about it, or our bosses will get very mad at me. And I guess in general, there is something happening now that I think is very cool, which is there's a new appreciation for gaming like I've never seen before. Like when I was growing up, gaming was more of a kid's thing. Now it's clearly for everyone. But it's like if you're a gamer, you know the potential of games, and non-gamers, they don't really know what they're missing out on." He continued, "But my hope was that we made The Last of Us a TV show that we could change that, and why I became so involved with it. I wanted so badly for it to be good because I wanted this to happen, which is like someone who will watch the show and really like it and fall in love with those characters the way that we have fallen in love with those characters and their story, and then realize at the end, wait, that's based on a video game, and then go and check out the game, and I just see the wealth of narratives and everything that's happening in games." So that's nothing shocking, okay? I think that there needs to be a cross medium that's more respected between the two, right? It's been a tried and true trope that gaming adaptations for TV shows or movies are notoriously terrible. But every once in a while, when you get a gem and you get a good one, that's going to just bolster the game, right? Look at what happened with Fallout. Fallout TV show came out. People for the most part really enjoyed it, and it ended up having people check out Fallout as a franchise and check out the most recent one, to the point where Bethesda even added an update to the game that hadn't been updated in over a year, I believe. So again, it can help each other, right? This is why anime and manga goes hand in hand, because the anime is usually what's going to sell the manga, or sometimes vice versa, but usually it's the other way around. It is very important to respect the two and make sure that they are as well tied as possible, so that you can actually have fans of both. Because if you make a TV show and it doesn't respect the source material of the game, you're going to get fans of the TV show, and then they're going to go buy the game and they're going to be like, what happened to the TV show? Or what happened to the game? How is this even connected, right? When people start having to ask that question, it doesn't exactly create a longevity of a fan base or something that can be tied between both mediums. So it's very good and important to respect both and make sure they are as close as humanly possible together. It says Cuckman went on, so now I feel like there's kind of a spotlight on gaming. And Fallout just came out, and that's a big success for Amazon. And I find that really exciting, not because games need to be movies or that they need to be TV shows, but I think it just kind of opens the eyes of a bunch of people that just weren't aware of the kind of experiences that exist in games. Well, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I just wish that we would get better adaptations, right? We're slowly but surely starting to get halfway decent ones, but we could definitely do a lot better. We could do a lot better for sure. It says, I think right now we've been a tipping point where it's about to take off, where people realize, oh my God, there's all these incredible moving experiences in games. And so I'm not only excited for this game that we're making, and it's something really fresh for us, but I'm also excited to see how the world reacts to it, he said. Because of The Last of Us and the success of the show, people even outside of gaming are looking at us to see what it is that we put out next. And I've already said too much about it. I'll stop there. So you're asking me for my dream projects. I've been very lucky to have worked on my favorite games with incredible collaborators, and I'm very thankful for them, he concluded. Now, following the correction, Sony has pulled the entire interview down. The company explained, in re-reviewing our recent interview with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann, we have found there's several significant errors and inaccuracies that don't represent his perspective and values, including topics such as animation, writing, technology, AI, and future projects. We apologize to Neil for misrepresenting his words and for any negative impact this interview might have caused him and his team. In coordination with Naughty Dog and SIE, we have removed the interview, the company concluded. This is a massive fucking L. This is a massive L, and it just goes to show and prove that everything that comes out of Sony's mouth is just pure and utter bullshit. This is why nobody believed them when they talked about the mandating of PSN when it came to Helldivers and how it was always a thing and blah, 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 even though they changed the TOS and they changed everything on their website after the fact, and they were caught. I mean, again, Sony is such a full of shit company, and this just proves it. They were even willing to misrepresent one of their head developers just because they wanted to make it seem like something that it wasn't, and they always do this all the time, and I'm glad, or shocked I should say. I'm actually very shocked that they took it down. Sony usually doesn't admit when they're wrong, or they don't admit when something like this goes down, that, oh, perhaps it's just a mistranslation or whatever the case may be, but it's not. It's just pure and utter misrepresentation at the maximum. So unfortunately for Sony, I don't know how many L's they got to take before they realize that shit's really bad for them, but this is just another one to add to the list on top of Stellar Blade and obviously Helldivers 2. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.